Hello guys, it's Galactic here, and today I'm back again with another free-to-play episode. In today's episode, you'll see that there was a lot go on. For starters, we got Hera to 7 stars, and we also unlocked Ezra, which is probably the two big things that happened between last video and this one. In terms of content, there was a lot to go through. I had roughly 3.5 hours of footage. So hopefully you guys watching like the format. Like I said in the last video, if you don't like it being sped up, let me know, and I'll make sure that in the future the footage is slower. For the purpose of this video, however, the footage will be sped up. Other notable things that happened this week in my free-to-play account is because we finally got Hera to 7 stars, we've now got access to heroic raids. Like I said in the last video, I am lucky enough to have got into a heroic raid guild. Again, this is something that wouldn't apply to all of you, although there is a chance you could still apply for these guilds, and there's a chance that they would still let you in as long as you get your tickets. But due to this, my Han farm is going really well. In fact, as of right now, I am almost at 5 stars, and I'm on track to have him 7 stars within a couple of weeks. That's incredibly good. It's really quick, and it's one of the reasons why I'm focusing on him so much early in the game. You will see throughout this video, he's going to hit for 4, 5, even 6,000. And, you know, he's only a low level, low gear, low stars. And he's hitting for amazing damage because he's stacking so much offense. And it's one of the reasons why I invest in him, because he's easily accessible. Throughout the rest of this video, we're going to be primarily focusing on Galactic War. Galactic War is a game mode that, firstly, some don't take as serious as they should do, and secondly, it's quite boring. Let's be fair. It's not the most entertaining game mode out there. So the first thing to take into account with Galactic War is that the enemies scale off your top characters. It only scales off like the top percent, like only a few characters will come into consideration for scaling the opponent's levels. Obviously this doesn't mean that you'll only meet enemies of equal or lower levels, it just means that the majority will be your level, and then they will scale up and above that. That's why you can meet, say, level 85 Empire teams, which will become an absolute pain, as I'm sure many of you who have probably played the game before will know. You come up against an Emperor Palpatine, Gear 8 or 9 team early on, you're not going to win. So the thing with Galactic War is that it's all pre-coded. What I mean by this is, say you go into a battle and you taunt with Chopper, and then, for example, say Rex, then base 6 Chopper. If you was to back out, go into the battle, and do exactly the same thing, you would have exactly the same outcome. So if you kept on quitting and going back in, and you always taunted with Chopper, Rex would always basic. What this means is, say you have a really tough battle come up against, say, Inquisitors, which I've seen multiple times, and they are an absolute pain to try and beat. What you'll find there is you can go in, you can experiment with, see what your opponent's going to do, then you can back out. Backing out does not end the battle in the sense that you can't play it again. Backing out just means you back out, you keep everything you had. But now you know what your opponent's going to do, and you can plan around that. If you know that they're going to do a fierce as Basilisk Unfallen, and you know they're going to do a mass fear, you know to go in and use a different ability. So that is probably the first thing anyone should know when going into Galactic War. The next thing is just knowing that each battle scales. So the first battle's okay, the second one's a little bit harder, the third one tends to be really hard, then it gets a lot easier again. So what you can do here is you can pick and choose your teams. So for example, you would have seen in the footage here, that I just take a full Phoenix team, for the most part, in the early rounds, and then I bring in my Han in the later ones. This is firstly so that we get some value from the lower geared characters, and secondly it's just so Han doesn't accidentally die off in the nodes that we don't need to use him for. Because as I said, you'll see throughout this video, he is amazing. The amount of damage he's hitting for, he is a really good character. Unfortunately, I just couldn't clean the whole board. We could only ever make it to the about 2/3 clear of the Galactic War. This was kind of disappointing for me. I was hoping to get further, but right now we just don't have the teams or the resources to get there. Once we've got Ezra to a higher gear level, we should be fine, but it's going to take us a while to get there, and that's not a problem. In terms of the rest of our farms, we've still been farming IG-11, who will be a good character for Galactic War once they're geared up. We're not bothering about gearing them yet because we just don't have a team to fit them in. However, once we level up a few more times, we can hopefully start farming Dash, and then we'll slot in Han and IG to begin with Dash, and then that will give us 2 teams to clear Galactic War. The other thing about Galactic War is you're gaining crystals, you're also gaining currency, and you're gaining some ability mats and shards. So it is definitely worth trying to beat this early on. There is no problem with not full clearing it every single time, especially early game. Once you've got a good team, then by all means you can just start full clearing every single day and you'll be golden. But to begin with, just see how far you can get. If you can't clear a node, don't go crazy. I remember one of my smaller accounts that I started a few years ago. I logged in and I went into Galactic War against a crew, and I was like, oh yeah, we can do this, and then I literally had the game on auto for 10 hours and crew did not die. I woke up, I even went to bed, I woke up in the morning, crew was just sitting there laughing at me, or at least I thought he was. Yeah, you don't have to worry about clearing every single time. I mean, it's nice if you can do it, that's great, but if you can't, there's no problem there. Same thing with the challenges, like some of them are quite tough, like the one winning with all tanks tends to be okay. The one for supports I really struggle with. You can see on the screen right there, we just unlocked Ezra, and hopefully once we have him at 5 stars, we'll be able to start working on the Palpatine event. Palpatine will be our first Journey Guide character, most likely followed by Thrawn, because they're both good characters, and that will give us a 3rd team, which is Empire. One thing I wanted to ask all of you who are watching is, would you all be interested in a live stream of this account? The idea would be that it would be once a week. I would have to work out the day. I'll try and keep it the same day each week, and instead of doing these shorter videos where I have everything sped up, I would be focusing on giving you all like an hour or 2 of just footage, you know, just me playing through. I can answer questions and talk you through the account in more detail. If there's something that would interest you, please let me know. With that said, I'd like to thank everyone for watching, and I'll see you next time.